Well, that film was just... Okay, let's do it. Logan. So Logan is the last time that we see Hugh Jackman play the Wolverine, or is it? Now, just a quick reminder, this is a spoiler video because I am going to be talking about a few spoilers. So let's get to it. So at the beginning of the film, you straight away understand what this film is. Logan's first word is fuck. So straight away you kind of know, well, this isn't a kiddie-friendly film, because it's not. And basically, he fucks up gang members. I went with my girlfriend to watch it, and I looked over to her and I went, this is what we're in for. And it is. And it's not too over the top. It's done right. And this is something that I think a lot of people worry about, and I worried about, that when we heard it was rated R, that we would just get loads of violence for the sake of chucking violence in. We get loads of swearing in, like the trailer with Patrick Stewart saying that she's 11 and I'm fucking 90. That worked, and the swearing isn't too excessive. There were points where I was a bit like, you didn't need to add in fuck there or shit there. But it doesn't deter away from actually what's going on. And what's going on is that the mutants are gone, and they're currently hiding away in Mexico. And you can't help but feel that actually they're alone. The year is 2029. Logan, who has aged greatly ever since his healing factor began to falter, has become a chauffeur. Logan has become a chauffeur. I can't say this word. Chauffeur, and is kind of trafficking drugs, and we find out that these drugs are for Charles Xavier. It was finally mentioned at the end, but basically Charles Xavier has killed the X-Men. Well, he didn't mean to, obviously, but he's killed these X-Men in a seizure, psychic-induced attack. As he's getting old, he can't control what's going on, and basically he needs these drugs to kind of stop. Now, Logan is approached by a nurse called Gabriella, and you see her quite a few times, and Logan is running away and basically says, what the fuck do you want from me? And basically this nurse says, I need you to escort this girl, she's my daughter, and you need to take her to North Dakota to a place called Eden. Now, for so long, it actually ends up being cash that persuades him to do this. It was £20,000 up front, and then £30,000 when the job is done. And basically Logan agrees to do this. Now, after reluctantly accepting the job, Logan discovers that Gabriella has been murdered when he goes to pick her up. And Logan, Laura and Charles Xavier narrowly escape the Reavers and Donald Pierce. However, Caliban is captured, and from then on, this is a cat and mouse film. Obviously, Caliban, if you don't know your comics, Caliban's power is tracking. He can track people, and basically the Reavers take him and basically use Caliban's powers to find Logan, Laura and Charles Xavier. And it's just such a cleverly done film that although it was two hours or however long it is, it didn't feel long. Now, it turns out that Gabriella's is not Laura's mother, that actually she was a nurse at Transigen, and Laura is X-23. And it turns out that actually Laura is Logan's daughter. Logan is Laura's father. Now, spoiler alert, Charles dies. Charles Xavier dies. And it is done so well that Charles basically is in bed and he's crying as he finally remembers. He knows what happened. And he's talking to who he thinks is Logan at the time and is saying, I know what I've done. I know what I've done. And basically X-24 kills him. I wasn't too fussed with X-24. My worry was that they were going to do an X-Men Origins and make a really shitty Deadpool. Luckily X-24 isn't a huge prominent figure in the movie, but I get what they were doing. It was a bigger version, better, brutier version of Logan, but obviously Logan will turn out the winner. But I get what they did, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I understand it, and it worked for the film at the time. Now, Laura is a huge X-Men fan and is reading the comics, And basically Logan goes through one of the comics and finds out that actually Eden is made up, which I thought was really quite clever, because the whole X-Men comics and what I used to read, and the Wolverine that we all know, and I like the fact that they addressed that, and there was such a huge fan propaganda about the fact that we never saw Wolverine in his comic form. And I like the fact that actually he addressed this in the film, and basically he says that, you know, a lot of this happened, but it never happened like this. And at the end of Wolverine, we see the helmet, and that's a possible clue that we might see it, and there was talks that we might see it. There is a cameo. One of the kids that escape the unit has a Wolverine toy. But that's about as far as we get with it. And do you know what? I'm not that bothered that we didn't get a live action kind of remake of Wolverine comic form. For my opinion, I wasn't that bothered. Spoiler alert, Logan dies, and I wanted Logan to die in this film due to the fact so that they couldn't bring him back, that this was 100% Hugh Jackman's last film, and the way it's done is so beautiful. And my favourite part was right at the end when basically they bury him. And there's a cross. They kind of lay like a grave for him, and the tombstone is a cross, but a kind of a Christian Catholic cross. And Laura spins it and makes an X. And this is just one of them moments that is so beautifully done. It doesn't need dialogue. It was just the testament to it, which was just so beautiful. And it was the moment that she twisted it and made the X. I just went, oh, that's how it should be done. Now, I could talk for hours about this film and how great it was, but the bottom line is it's different, it's edgier, it's got that superhero content to it, but it's much more about the people. It's much more about getting a story about Charles Xavier. It's much more about understanding Logan and what he's going through, and this kind of extinction, what they think is extinct, that actually that Caliban, Logan and Charles are the only 3 mutants left in the world, and it's that loneliness. And I mean, let's talk about Caliban for a minute. I loved Stephen Merchant as Caliban. I didn't think Caliban needed to be in the film. I understand why they've done it. I think the way that he sacrifices himself near the end was beautiful. Obviously, we kind of all guessed that from the trailer when he kind of has the grenades in his hand. I think we could kind of all guess what Caliban was doing at that point. So what Caliban needed to do in the film, he did, and it all ties in so beautifully. And the first act, the middle act and the last act all combined to make such a beautiful film. And you don't need to watch X-Men Origins, which is shit. And you don't need to watch The Wolverine, which is, this is a standalone film, and you can watch this at any time. You don't need to watch X-Men Apocalypse. You don't need to watch all the other kind of the saga beforehand. If you just watch this film on its own, you will understand about Charles Xavier. You will understand about Logan. You will learn to love Caliban and X-23, and that is what makes it so special. That on its own, it is a standalone film. It doesn't need tie-ins from other stories. It just is a standalone, fantastic film, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I'm a huge DC fan. But moving away, like if you take out the mutant element, it's still a fantastic film. So guys, that's my review for Logan. What was your favourite bit about that movie? What bit were you most shocked at? Did you nearly cry? Comment below. Let me know, man. Now, if you liked what you see, please like and subscribe to us. We've got loads of content coming out. And don't forget to watch our last video, which was our fast lane predictions video with me and Will. Also, follow us on Twitter at 4idiotsofficial. Again, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.